Okay, so welcome again. I'm not going to write that. So, what are we going to do? How are we going to do things? I still don't know. We are starting and we'll use the hit and trial method, whatever works best. Okay, so today I'm uploading videos. Okay, my writing is bad. Today I'm uploading videos, alright, with the PPT and everything. Tomorrow, day after tomorrow, we might have a live class, okay, where all of you will have to join. There can be various means through which we can join. The point is that everybody should participate. If people are not participating in this, if you're not doing assigned tasks, okay, there will be tasks assigned to you, just like online quiz or a task in which you will have to submit things. Everything will be in Google Classroom. So if you're not taking that seriously, you will have to make your presence felt in the live class so that everybody can come together and actually study something, because we don't have enough time in this year. So we still don't know. We'll still try, and whatever works best, we'll do that. We'll start with so one thing that I wanted to tell you is that most English teachers in this country start with this lesson, the last lesson from Flamingo as their first lesson, because then they get to make this joke that the first lesson is the last lesson. So since I'm a very serious teacher, I will start with my mother at 66. We'll not start with some jokes. We'll do that chapter as the second chapter. So these are your textbooks, and this is my mother at 66 with coronavirus all around it. Now, this is the author. Okay. First, why do we tell people about the authors? So just so that we get to know what kind of life that author probably had. So if I tell you some author is from India, so we definitely get that context. Okay, she has the same experiences that I do. If I tell you that some author is from England, some author is from America, some author is from Chile, okay, so they have different experiences and they write for different things they see in life. So we get a bit of context from that. Now, this poem, although will seem like the easiest poem, and it is actually the easiest poem, but it has a very dark, very deep theme attached to it. So let's get to know the author first a bit, and then we'll talk about the poem. So she was born in Kerala, okay, and her pen name is where is my pen? Madhvi Kutti. Oh, it's not written here. I forgot to write. Okay, oh, no, it's Kamla Suraya as well. Okay, let's not get distracted. We'll start from here. Kamla, she was born in Kerala, and her mother was also a poet. Her mother was Nalapat Balami Amma. I can't see my own pen where I write. Huh? Nalpat Balami Amma was her mother, and she was also a poet. And she died in Pune at the age of 75. She had already written a lot of things by the time she died. She had embraced Islam, and that is why I changed her name. She has three names in total. First is Kamala Das, second is Kamala Suraya, third is her pen name, which is Madhavi Kutti. Okay, pen name is basically the thing that she used to write beneath her works. Okay, so her first book was Summer in Calcutta. If you want to read this, you can read this. You can pause it and read this. She has diverse range of work. Okay, she doesn't just write about one simple thing. So let's say there are writers who write about children. Okay, children books. Okay, there are writers who write non-fiction and fiction. They usually have a simple a set theme on which they explore more. But she has a range of topics and themes on which she writes, and this is one of the most deep and dark, you can say, themes that she has chosen for a poem. Now, let me tell you what the poem is all about first before we go to any other thing. Okay, so you can read this. Kamala Das was born in Kerala. She is recognized India's foremost poets. Okay, her works are known for the originality, versatility, and indigenous flavor of the soil. Kamala Das has published many novels and short stories in English and Malayalam under the name Madhavi Kutti, as I told you. Some of her works in English include Alphabet of Lust and collection of short stories about the harlot and other stories and things like that. She's a sensitive writer who captures the complex subtleties of human relationships in lyrical idiom. My mother at 66. So before you read a poem, what do you need to do? Aging is a natural process. Have you ever thought what our elderly parents expect from us? You can think about this. Okay, that aging, it's a very natural process, but at the same time a very dark process. So what I'm going to ask you today is suddenly going to turn very very dark, because that is the theme of the poem. Have you ever thought about the death of your parents? Now, I am not I think I'm not being offensive, because I also have parents, and I will tell you I have thought about it. Yes, it is going to come. They're not immortal, just like I am not, just like you are not. Everybody is going to die at one point in their life. But I think I have talked to you about this, that death, we don't usually talk about it, but it is the most certain thing that is going to happen to us. The only certainty in life is death. Yes? So, this is a poem about death, okay? About thinking about death when she realizes that her mother, so this is her mother, and this is her, this is an aeroplane, a very shitty drawing of an aeroplane, but this is her mother, and she realizes that while she was traveling with her, she realizes that her mother is getting old. And what do you mean by old? Old means the time is going to end on her. She is going to pass away. Okay. So we'll start with the poem. Driving from my parents' home to Cochin last Friday morning, I saw my mother beside me. Dozed, open mouthed, her face ashen like that of a corpse, and realized with pain that she was as old as she looked. But soon put that thought away and looked out at young trees sprinting, the merry children spilling out of their homes. But after the airport security check, standing a few yards away, I looked again at her, wan, pale, as late as winter's moon, and felt that old familiar ache, my childhood's fear. But all I said was, "See you soon, Amma." And all I did was smile, smile, and smile. Okay? This one very, very, very pertinent, simple thing about this poem is that this is one single sentence. The whole poem is one single sentence. You see, there is no full stop anywhere. It is just one single sentence, the whole poem. Okay, everywhere there are commas. Unless you see a full stop, that's not a sentence. So this whole poem is one single sentence. So that is also very pertinent, because this is one single thought that she is having. Okay, we'll again read the poem line by line. Although it is a very easy poem, if you read it yourself, just pause this video and go to the file that I sent you. Read the poem once again. You will understand this yourself. Okay, this is the easiest poem in your entire school life that you'll read. You're not going. Okay, let's read this then. Driving from my parents' home to Cochin last Friday morning, so Kamadas went to her parents' house, okay, and she is going to Cochin, and her mother is going to drop her at the airport. So she had gone to her parents' house, obviously. Now she's going to Cochin airport, from where she had to board an airplane for her journey back home. So this is an airplane, as you can see, and this is a car in which she was traveling, probably. I saw my mother beside me. So usually when people travel together, they sit beside each other. Beside me, doze, open mouth. What do you mean by doze? If I said doze off, okay, I dozed off. What does that mean? Answer that, and like you will have to find out. I'm not gonna tell you. Open mouth. See, a very very clear depiction of open mouth. Dozing off, open mouth. Her face, her face, ashen like that of a corpse. The meaning of ashen can be derived from. See, you don't actually need to know this, but see, it's made from ash. What is ash? Ash is the things that are left behind after when you burn something, okay, all the carbon that is there. So it's basically a residue. It's colorless, it's lifeless. Okay, there is no life in ash. So her face is also like that. Her face ashen like that of a corpse. What is a corpse? It's a dead body. So dead bodies are colorless. They're without life. So they lose that vigor. They lose that vitality that should be there. So her face is also turning a bit like that, and realized with pain that she was as old as she looked. So it's finally there, the realization that she is just not young yet. Okay, she's actually getting old, and she's looking old as well. Some people are old, they don't look that old, but they are old. This time her mother is actually old, and it is visible on her face. So then she looked out at young trees sprinting. Now this is important, not important. This is important. Okay, this is important. So she looked out and sprinting. You know what is sprinting? Sprinting is basically running very very fast. So saying Bolt sprint. You sprint from one place to another. That means you run as fast as you can. So when she looked out, she found that young trees are sprinting. So trees don't sprint, can they? Like trees cannot run. So why is she saying that trees were sprinting? She looked out at young trees sprinting, the merry children spilling out of their homes. Again, another metaphor. So this is basically when you are sitting in a car and things move, right? You're moving, but the trees are stationary, but they seem as if they are moving, right? They seem as if they're running with you. That is why she's saying that she saw the trees sprinting outside when she looked out of the window. And she also saw the merry children spilling out of their homes. So, merry children, she's a very merry child, and she's spilling out meaning coming out of their homes. Her home is behind, you can't see that in the picture. She is spilling out of the home. She also saw children running out of their homes. Now, this children, the imagery of children is brought here, which is children are symbolic of what? They are symbolic of. Where is my pen again? What the hell? Where is it? Here. So, children are symbolic of youth. They're symbolic of vitality, vigor, life, and growth. Some things that are absolutely opposite, things that are not there in a mother anymore. So, she's just trying to give us that idea with a contrast. Okay, this is a contrast that she's presenting to us by bringing this imagery in, the merry children spilling out of their homes. But after the airport security check, standing a few yards away, now she is done with the journey, and after the security check, standing a few yards away, she again saw her mother. Okay, because you get a lot of time when you're in that security check. She again saw her mother. I looked at her, wan, pale as a late winter's moon. Now she looked like a pale winter's moon. A winter's moon basically is an imagery which is a colorless moon. Okay, it's colorless. Her face is also colorless. So usually, if we say that our face is it's colorful. Our face is colorful. It has various colors, okay, at various places, various patches. But in old people, it's usually just one tone. Okay, it just gets to being colorless. It is not full of life anymore. So poet's mother was aged and looked pale and colorless as the winter snow. So in winter usually the weather is very very hazy. Okay, the moon is the same although, but the atmosphere is full of fog and things like that. So the atmosphere is very hazy. So you cannot see the moon very clearly. So the winter's moon looks very pale and colorless to us. So that is why he is comparing her face, her mother's face, to late winter's moon. Winter's moon lacks luster and brightness. Similarly, mother's face has also lost radiance and is now misted by age. Okay, the winter's moon that appears at the end of the year also symbolizes the ebbing state of the mother's life. Now remember, this is not just the winter's moon, this is a late winter's moon. Winter is going to end, and so is the life of everybody else, but more so of the poet's mother because she's getting old and felt that old familiar ache. So this is not a new thing that she is feeling. It's an old ache. This is an old familiar ache. Okay. It's not like you one day realize that your parents are old, right? You always have this thing in your head. although you might not want to think about it, but this thought, okay, it goes through our head at one point of time. It will, and it has earlier. Like, it's not like when I read this poem, it's only then that I thought about my parents' death. I had thought about it before as well. So she had also thought about it before, and this is an old familiar ache. What is an ache? Okay, people say headache, right? What is an ache? Find out. I mean, you already know. Most of you will know what is an ache. So she felt that old familiar ache. That means she has already experienced this before. She's familiar with this feeling. She has this feeling. She has had this feeling before as well. My childhood fear. It is a fear that is there in every child of losing their parents, because to the child the parents are everything. That is their whole world. Okay, unless you realize that there are other things in the world, material things, unless we start going after that. Okay, not everybody, some people. So after that we realize that there are other things, like there are other people. Unless you meet them, unless you go out into the world, your parents are your whole world. What would you do without them, right? So this is an old childhood fear that she has had, and that old familiar ache is returning to her as she realizes, looking at her old mother's face, that she is indeed getting old. Familiar ache refers to the ache of the helplessness, the pain of separation that arises at the thought of mother's death. Childhood fear refers to the fear of losing a mother, getting separated from her, or that death would consume her mother. But all I said was, "See you soon, Amma." All I did was smile, smile, and smile. But despite having these tumultuous, these dark thoughts in her head, she could not express those thoughts to her mother. I mean, of course, when you're with someone and you feel bad about something, about that person, but you love that person very much, okay, you're not going to express it to them. Okay, you're not going to express these thoughts that you have about your parents. If you do, if you will sometime, you're not going to go and talk about it to your parents, are you? And even if you realize that that is eventually the certainty, you're not going to talk about it. She also does not express herself to her mother. Instead, she hides those feelings, and all she did was smile, smile, and smile. Where is the pen? God, can't करते इसने. Smile, smile, and smile. Okay, all she did was, that is all she could do, because if she shows her internal conflict that she's going through, her mother would also feel bad, right? She would feel, because the mothers, it's not like the parents want to leave the child. It is a certainty in life, that is what happens to her, everybody's, right? So the children also don't want to separate with the parents also don't want to separate with the children. Okay, so she doesn't want those thoughts to get into her mother's head, because that would disturb her as well. So she's hiding all those things, and she's just smiling to let her mother know that she is happy to be with her. Okay, and she ends on a very, very optimistic note, that she says, "See you soon, Amma." Okay, she's very optimistic of the fact that the next time she comes back, she's going to see her mother, and she's going to be there for her. Okay, so Kamala bids farewell, formal adieu to her mother with the hope of seeing her soon. She smiles only to hide her anxiety and fear of the unknown. She also wants to bid a cheerful farewell to her mother before she boards the flight. The poetess tries to put up a brave front in order to hide her true feelings of pain at seeing her old and weak mother. Her smile also reflects her optimism. So that is the end of the poem. You will now get a very small quiz, okay, multiple choice quiz. You just have to click the right answers. It's a very easy thing, very, very easy quiz on this easy poem. And tomorrow we'll come up with something more interesting. Today is that is the end of your assignment. Watch this video, do that quiz, submit it. That is it. And thank you for listening if you made it to the end.